also in the discussion afterwards where we get questions and we get a chance to clarify. Our goal here, as always, is to help you become a more confident quilter and to help you to accomplish the dreams and ambitions that you had when you got your machine. So whatever that is, if it's running a business and making a little income for your family, or if it's to be able to get some of those quilts done. A lot of people have a goal of like, I want to have, every one of my grandchildren is going to have a quilt when they're born, and they're going to have a quilt when they graduate high school and go to college, and whatever those goals are. If you want to win ribbons at shows, our goal is to kind of come alongside you on your dream and help you make it a reality. So that's what's behind these Facebook Lives that we do. And we get super excited when we get emails and messages about from you all about what you've been able to do and what you've been able to accomplish, because that's really what gets us up in the morning. So what I wanted to do today was to kind of recap. A lot of the things that I have on the table behind me are things that you've seen before, or you may even have them, but they are things that are tools to assist you in your quilting. And I think I'm going to start clear down here at this other end. Come on with me. I'm going to start right here with probably one of my favorite tools. And I always get, like, if I go to a show or a training and I've set up the machines and it's time to load the machines, load the frames, and if I can't find these batting scissors, I honestly get a little cranky, because yeah, there's other ways to cut batting, but these scissors are built in such a way that it makes it effortless, and I've never found any other scissors that cut batting like these. They're made by Famore, and they're the Linda V. Taylor signature model, and they've got her autograph right on here. But if you look at them, they're cut away on the handle, so the handle is up, so you can run along that batting and cut like this. But more importantly, it has a blunt tip, and the one blade is longer than the other one. And so this design is just phenomenal. And like I say, if I have to cut batting and I don't have these scissors handy, I am not a happy camper, because this stuff, it's hard enough to wrestle it all into position, measure out exactly what you need. But when you've got these, it just makes the job go so easy. Really easy to cut straight lines and everything. So these scissors, batting shears, you can get these. Every Gammill dealer has them. And if you don't have them and you think, gosh, it's a little bit of a luxury, is it really worth, can I justify spending money on a pair of scissors that's just for batting? Put it on your Christmas or your birthday list, because they totally make your life easier. And yes, you don't have to have them. You can cut the batting some other way, but there's nothing like having these. The next thing that I pulled out is the standard Gammill motor belt. And almost every Gammill uses this exact same belt. And if you've been on the Facebook groups for a while, you know that that oftentimes when people have a problem with their machine, either the needle doesn't stop in the right place, or their stitch regulation isn't very good, or a variety of other problems that they have with the machine. Sometimes when you tell it to stop, it takes a couple extra stitches and it doesn't stop right away. A lot of times their advice is going to be, well, if your belt is more than a couple years old, you really want to change your belt out before you do anything else. And the reason for that is because the belts have this little micro texture. They have little grippers all the way along the surface. And when you look at an old belt, one that's been on the machine for like 5 years, the belt is worn totally smooth. And so the stitch regulator is trying to give a perfectly consistent stitch, but what's happening is the belt is slipping. And you can't just tighten the belt and make that go away, because what's happened is that the actual texture itself is worn off the belt. These guys are so inexpensive. I think they're maybe $11. super easy to replace. We've got a video on Gammill.com that walks you through. It's like 30 seconds to replace the belt. And so I just wanted to show people that, and especially to mention on the texture, because if you take your belt cover off the back of your machine and the belt is wore smooth, or honestly, if it's more than a couple years old, just change it out and you'll be glad you did. Speaking of changing things out, this is something people never think about. But when you look at a new machine, like let's say your friend just got a new Gammill, and you go over to oogle her new machine and ooh and ah and help celebrate with her, you might have seen on her table how it's got this beautiful Velcro for the side clamps to be attached to. And on your older machine, this Velcro has caught your sweater, it's caught your shirt, it's caught the batting, and it's got all kinds of threads and fuzz and other stuff jammed in this Velcro. A lot of people don't know, or they never thought, that you can just get a new set of Velcro. When I was selling machines and I was rehabbing older machines, putting a Statler retrofit on them or whatever and reselling them, a lot of times I would put new Velcro on the table because it's just, I don't know, it's like kind of a wash and wax on your car. When that Velcro is all scummy and there's really not a decent way to clean it, it's super nice to have new Velcro. And most of you are going to find that your dealer has these in stock as well, and they're great. Kind of on the same token is the things that wear out that you don't think about replacing is the special handle grips. So these are the foam handle grips, and your red and black buttons come up through here. And a lot of times they'll have a tear on them because they're older or they're kind of chewed up. And these are great to replace. There's two for the front and two for the back. And I went to a bicycle parts store, actually several bicycle parts stores, because I was away from home and I didn't have any of these foam grips with me. And I thought, oh, well, they look like a normal hand grip for a bicycle. So I went to place after place. No, actually it's a special foam hand grip that's just the right size for the Gammill handlebars. But these are amazing and they're so affordable. I don't have the prices committed to memory, but nothing here that I'm talking about is expensive. Toe gauges. Most of you have toe gauges. These are, I consider, an absolute necessity to really be in control of the tension of your machine, rather than kind of at its mercy and afraid of what might happen with your tension. If you have one of these toe gauges and know how to use it, you are in control. And there's videos on Gammill.com that talk about how to use one. If you have one already and don't know how to use it, I would really encourage you to dig out those videos that are in the maintenance section. And in particular, Michelle has a video where she goes through exactly what these are supposed to behave like and how you use it. But the thing is, if you have one of these and know how to use it, you are never going to be at the mercy of the tension of your machine. You'll be the master of your machine. And so I highly recommend these. These are a must. They're not cheap. I want to say they're somewhere in the neighborhood of maybe $60 or $70, but I can't think of one use of $60 or $70 that would be more valuable to your quilting than having one of these. So if you don't have one and you think, well, I've gotten along for 10 years without one, I don't know why to get one now, I'll tell you what, your quilting will only get better if you have one. But you do have to know how to use it. Spot lifter, I've talked about this in one of my previous videos, just reminding people that it's there. The oil kit, I don't think I've ever gotten on Facebook or any of the videos and actually showed an oil kit. And a lot of times people have the little oiler like this, and they also have the big bottle, but the oil kit is actually got one extra part in it that I really love, which is this itty bitty little funnel. And I lived my life for a long time without having one of these, and it sure does make it easier to get the oil from the big bottle into the little one if you have the funnel. So kind of the next time you need to get a new refill bottle of oil, You might consider ordering the kit, because then you get a new one of these, because your old one gets kind of beat up, and you get the funnel. We got any questions so far? Not so much. All right. All right. And keep cruising. This is our mouse pad for Creative Studio 7, and it has all the commonly used shortcuts printed right on it. So I can't tell you how often people put a question on Facebook and they say, well, I can't figure out how to select this pattern because every time I click it either selects, you know, pattern 2 or pattern 3, but I can never grab pattern 1. And of course some nice soul is going to get on there and tell them to use the greater than or less than arrows on their keyboard. But if they had this mouse pad, they could just look at it and they're all listed right here. There's a whole ton of shortcuts here that'll make you a power user of Creative Studio if you're a Statler owner. And honestly, I've learned a lot of shortcuts just from this, because when I'm using the software, I don't have the book open, but I do have my mouse pad there. And this fits right on the mouse pad holder on your machine. Kind of related to that, if anybody doesn't have the printed book for Creative Studio, this is got a plastic cover, spiral bound so it lays open flat, and everything in here is printed in color. So it is considerably easier to use than just looking at the book on the computer. So if you're interested in getting one of these, your dealer has these as well. I find that it is very, very helpful to have a printed copy of the book. Now, will it become obsolete when Creative Studio 8 or 9 or 10 comes out? Yeah, pretty much. That's just kind of par for the course. For a lot of software that I have several versions of the book going back. And it really doesn't matter, because a lot of the things do stay the same. And sometimes I'm looking for something in the older book because I remember how I used to do it, and I want to find it in the older book. So don't be afraid to get a printed copy, whatever it takes for you to be comfortable with using your machine. But my favorite part in here is that it has an alphabetical index in the back. So you can go here and starting at A and running through Z, you can look at, you know, the draw command rules, and it says, well, you can look on page 61 for that. You know, so everything right in there. Now, this is the last thing I have to show you, and a lot of you have seen the you've seen a little bit about the vivid light, but unless your machine is less than a year old, you probably don't have one of these yet. So the vivid light, this is the full kit, this one. So what we have is the handlebar light that goes up inside the handlebar of your machine with the special cable that plugs right in. And then this is the arm light that fits inside the arm space of your machine. And so this one right here has a self-adhesive Velcro right here, and that'll actually hold it up inside the neck of your machine where this goes in your handlebars. And this only takes maybe 10 minutes to install. You take out 2 little screws that takes out your existing light, and it drops down and unplugs. You just pull apart the white connector. And then to put the new one in, the only thing you may have to do is these clips actually slide along here. So depending on your machine, you may have to slide the clips a little bit to make the holes line up with the existing holes in the metal. And then you put those screws back in here, plug it in, and you're good to go. So this Vivid Light set has been unbelievably popular. When I said I wanted to talk about it on today's Facebook Live, what I was told was, oh, I don't think we have any of those because they've been selling faster than we can get the parts in. But we actually did have 2, and so I was able to get my hands on this one. So I wouldn't be surprised if your dealer does not have them because they're selling really, really fast. But if you call them and order, actually there's a decent chance it might mail straight from Gammill right to you. But you do put the order in through your dealer. But we'll take any shortcuts we can to get it quicker to you. So this is actually some of the stuff, just to recap, this is some of the stuff that I like to point out that's going to make your quilting faster and easier so you have the right tools to do a great job. I'm going to be online. I've got a meeting right after this, but in probably an hour or so, I'll check the comments and answer any questions that you put in there. Thank you guys so much for joining us for today's Facebook Live, and Ashley is the next one tomorrow. We'll have another one tomorrow at the same time. Thank you so much.